Hello, Prue Jones from Place Coastal Properties. Your weekly property report today is Monday, April the 29th. We track the suburbs of Cape Schanck, Fingal, St Andrews Beach, Tutguruk, Rosebud, Rye, Blairgowrie and Sorrento. And of those suburbs last week, there were sales in 3 of those areas, namely Rosebud, Rye and Tutguruk. Just 9 sales across the suburbs that we track. No sales in St Andrews Beach, Blairgowrie, Cape Schanck, Fingal or Sorrento. However, there are a number of homes under contract in those suburbs. So we do expect to see sold signs on those boards in the near future. And under contract means that the purchaser has been successful in having their offer accepted. However, they are still finalising their finance with the banks. Now, usually that's 14 days or so for a bank to award finance unconditionally to a purchaser. Sometimes it can take longer, depending whether the person is a PAYG. Depends whether they have other assets that are held under that same bank, or if they are self-employed. So varying time frames in terms of the approvals there, which would explain why sometimes under contract stickers are on boards for what seems to be an inordinate amount of time. It's rare that they're not accepted in today's market, because certainly purchasers are put under the spotlight before they apply for finance. So it is generally, in a high percentage of cases, they progress to an unconditional sale. So our reliable suburbs last week, Rosebud, Rye and Tutguruk, were the suburbs that had turnover, and there were a couple of sales over $1 million in Rye last week. Neither of them were disclosed. One in Curminter Road finally sold after 181 days. What a marathon effort. It is interesting that that price range came down no less than $450,000 in the quote history of the campaign. So it could be suggested that that property was overpriced when it went to market. But the last quote price was $1,800,000 to $1,830,000, and I do believe it sold very close to that range. Property in Pardner Road, and mainly bungalows that were sold last week. Other than that, one in Curminter Road. There's another one in Avon Road that's gone under contract as well. Similar situation, extraordinarily high price, went to market, and that was on the market for 8 months. So it had an extraordinary time on the market. Took 2 agents to sell that property, and it sold for, I believe, after speaking to some of the neighbours, it was suppressed. I believe the property has sold under the quote price, the last quote price, which was, I think, 1.7 to 1.85 there. So it is interesting to see. Now, one of those homes was purchased during the COVID period, and which would explain why it went back to market at the price it did. So it shows that some of the market has had some attrition in its price range, but we do see stability in and close to the median price. There seems to be a healthy turnover of properties across these 3 suburbs of Rye, Rosebud and Tutguruk at under the $1 million mark. And if I look across all the results, the average price there is around $770,000. So nothing sold over 2 million last week, certainly nothing over 2.5 or nothing over 3 in any of the areas that we track. But there certainly is strong turnover in the sub-million range. That's good for investors, good for first home buyers, and there is, a healthy amount of supply in those areas as well. And the strength of that market is continuing to underpin certainly the rest of the market at this time. The offerings in Rye above 1.5 million are quite slim at the moment, and we do there are a couple of lovely homes on the market, but not the wide selection that we saw in the spring-summer market, which is normal for this time of year. And for those of you who are considering putting a luxe home on the market, you really don't have very much competition at the moment. So it certainly does draw buyers out. Just to say that interest rates are high and that's affecting our market. Well, not everybody needs a mortgage, so that's something to remember when we're reading the papers. And they love to talk about interest rates. It's one of their favourite topics in property. But at the coalface of the market, we are certainly seeing strong buyer engagement. There's an inordinate amount of people looking at property. All the opens are well attended. We certainly have changed our open strategies since COVID. During the heat of COVID, we had to open our properties 3 times a week just to get the bulk of buyers through. But now we have run that down to 1 time a week, 1 open a week, and relying on private inspections for the rest of the week. And that is a strategic move for marketing purposes and also creates more momentum in the campaign. So the sales last week in Rosebud and 12 Devon Court, a very nice 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home on 887 square metres that sold for $735. Quite good value, I think. Another property at 23rd Avenue in Rosebud, a little 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 1-car property on 392 square metres, sold for $705,000. 9 Pardner Road, bungalow. Pardner Road runs off Melbourne Road, quite close to Melbourne Road. That sold for $740,000. As I said, that property at 7 to 9 Cominter on the market for 181 days, 6 months. Sold for what we believe close to the price range of 1.8 to 1.83. 36 Murray Street also runs off Point Nepean Road, and that sold for $960,000. 20 Sussex Road, that's up behind Woolworths in that region, the Grandview area. That sold for $960,000. I beg your pardon, $850,000. 6 Beckett Street, $840,000, and 15 Percy Street, a parcel of land, did have quite a bit of fall, and that was 875 square metres, and that sold for $560,000. Just one sale at 50 John Street in Tutguruk, a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1-car on 875 square metres, and that sold for $735. So quite a good price there. Very pretty house though. So 9 sales for last week. If you are considering coming to market, there is certainly a lot of value in pricing the property right. Buyers are very value driven at the moment, and we are finding that properties are either selling very quickly, as in under a week, or they're taking much longer to sell, 60 to 80 days. And that may take a price adjustment or 2. And I think it's important to understand how markets are driving at the moment, as in what will attract a buyer to a property. Over and above the photos, over and above the text, it is definitely price. And that is something to certainly be in discussions with your agent about. Is my property priced right to sell? That's all this week from Prue Jones, and I look forward to speaking with you again next week and giving you the latest in our property results. Thank you so much, and see you next week.